What is going on, you guys? Breakfast of the day. We have some free-range eggs, as you saw in my previous story, and some beans. If you call them lentils, then nothing against you, because that's what they're truly called. But if you call them legumes, then bro, just please get off my IG. Like, I don't know why or how, but I heard somebody recently say that, like, if you call them legumes, just get out of here, bro. You're a goon. Anyways, I wanted to just quickly chop on here to show you my breakfast, but also to give you some food for thought. So, for those of you guys that aren't aware, I'm an online coach. Duh. But I used to be a personal trainer for years, and I used to have this perception of, like, I would never hire a personal trainer because there's no need. Like, I already know all these things. And I actually have a good friend that I went to high school with that's a personal trainer, and he works in person. And I reached out to him earlier because I was like, hey, dude, I'd love to get a training session in from you. And I thought about it from the perspective of, like, I actually would rather have a coach than not have a coach. And it's funny because I was on the flip side where I was having people come to me that were in better shape than me. I had people coming to me that were like bodybuilders, people that were personal trainers. If you see my story with Pavel, he's under one of my client wins. If you click there, he is a personal trainer. He's great, dude. But anyways, he worked as a personal trainer for like 20 years, and then he joined with me and we started working together, and we didn't work together for that long. But I remember thinking, like, why the heck does this guy want to work with me? Like, he already knows everything. And I had a lot of people that were already coaches, fitness influencers, like people that already knew what they were doing to a degree, or at least that's how I looked at it before. And I was like, well, why does this person want to work with me? Like, whatever, like, I definitely know that I can help this person. But things started to really shift when I became a coach, because now I realized, like, what you're paying for is not the more information, right? It's A, accountability, and B, it's application, right? And implementation. And so, like, the amount of time it takes me to go into the gym nowadays is like, boom, I'm in and out. I'm very efficient. I love to do my own workouts. But having an extra coach there that's going to push me harder, that's going to actually give me feedback, that's going to help just expedite that process is really what I'm looking for. And that's why a lot of the clients I work with have a coach and work directly with me, because, like, truth be told, they could go on, like I said, I say this on all of the clients' calls when I first enrolled into my program. I say, like, hey, just to let you know, like, you're not, investing into this program for the information. Like, you could go on my YouTube channel and take all these videos. You could go onto my Instagram page, watch all the reels, put them in your own order. But you're getting answers to questions rather than frameworks. And even then, the frameworks are on my YouTube channel. They're all free for you. But, like, the reason that people don't actually follow through and take it seriously is because, A, when you just get free information, you don't take it serious. And, like, I've been in business mentorship programs and realized that, like, when I finally paid a bunch of money to get in there, all the information that I already knew a bunch of the stuff, it's just like, wow, like, it's really not any different. It's just how they structure it, how they hold you accountable, and the access to information. And so I reached out to this buddy of mine. I was like, dude, like, can I join, like, can I sign up for a couple sessions with you? Like, I'd love to get a training session with you. And I realized there were a lot of people that I worked with in person that, like, just for that reason decided to work with me, because they just wanted somebody to hold them accountable. And they also wanted somebody that knew a lot of information. Like, the amount of mental energy it takes me to do my own programming is very minimal compared to what it used to be, because I've, like, programmed for so many clients. But, like, when my main focus is helping my clients, my main focus is working on my business and making sure my clients have what they have, I only have so much available energy reserved to work on my own training sessions. And so, like, to have somebody there that's their main thing is to just train people. Like, this is my buddy. He's like, that's his main career, is like, he just trains clients in person, and he's really good at what he does. And I've reached out to him, like, dude, like, I just want to sign up with you because, A, I know that I don't have to even think about it. I can just go to the gym and you're just going to put me through a kick-ass workout. And also, I just know that, like, from a coaching perspective, like, why would I not invest into a coach when I'm a coach myself, right? And he's an in-person coach, it's a little different, but, like, the reason that I think people have this ego where they're like, oh, I would never work with a personal trainer. And I'm a personal trainer myself, and I never had one, right? Like, growing up, and I spent 12 years thinking to myself, like, I'm going to prove to myself that I'm going to get into shape and do it all on my own, which is cool, like, yes, bro. But really the way I look at it now is, like, had I just invested into a personal trainer, I would have gotten way better results way faster, and it would have taken probably 4 years or 5 years, because I had to learn. Like, I started off, for those of you guys that aren't aware, with just training very hard, training consistently, being in the gym every single day, all the time, 2, 3, 4 hours a day. I'd be, like, doing cardio, doing all this stuff, playing sports, managing that, learning about my nutrition. And then I transitioned into away from, like, the hard training style and more of, like, okay, like, I don't have much time left. I'm training 10, 12, 15 clients a day. I need to figure out how to do this more efficiently. And then I started to look into, like, how to actually train properly, so, like, biomechanics, right? And these sorts of, like, proper movement structures from more the exercise science base. Then I became certified as a nutrition coach. And then I went into a point where, like, okay, I had a bunch of joint pain because I was trying to get back to that hard training style. And I was a lot more efficient with my training, which means that I was putting a lot more stress on the target muscles, and I was training more efficiently, but I was still training very intensely, 2-3 hours a day, like 7 days a week. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say that, right? Like 30 straight days I would go in the gym without a day off. And it's like, I'm doing it efficiently, so I can get away with that, and I just love doing it. But then I realized, like, okay, like, I need to now understand more of how anatomy works and, like, preventing joint pain, because I was running into joint pain. For those of you guys that don't know, like, my dude Adrian hooked it up, helping me clear up some of these things, but really just teaching me, like, how I should move properly for my specific goals. And, like, all the information's out there. I already knew a lot of the things, but I didn't know how it related to me. So when I started to realize, like, okay, like, my tibia is not internally rotating well. And then I had another guy, give me some insights into, like, okay, like, you need more thoracic extension. I'm like, well, how does that actually apply to me, my goals? Like, I already knew these things, but, like, can you just, like, expedite all the process and take away all the fluff and just give me the exact information I need for my goals? Because I already know these things. People have already told me this. I've already, been limited in certain exercises, and I've tried to work around them, but I don't know if what I'm doing is working, and so I'll just stop doing it, and I'm like, well, it's not that important, right? Like, I can still train fine. But when I started running the joint pain, I started to just, like, not have as much fun in the gym and not get as many results as I like. Like, after 12 years, your threshold for building new muscle is a lot higher, which means that, like, the progress you're gonna make is much lower if you've been in the gym for so long, but you can optimize things with strategy, with efficiency, right? And so when I reached out to this buddy of mine, I'm like, bro, like, like, can you just, like, can I sign up with you? Like, and it's like, it's so funny because, like, how the heck am I gonna be a coach but not invest in my own coach? Now I have multiple coaches. Like, I have a business coach, like, I have a fitness coach, and now I want to work with a personal trainer too. Why the heck would I do that if I Like, it's not for the reason of like, oh, like, people have this, I think a lot of times, mindset, and I thought of it the same way myself, like, I'm just going to do it all on my own. Like, why is it, like, I worked with athletes, like, why is it that they're paying me and they're working with me? Well, it's because they're getting more than they would have on their own, and they're getting it faster and more efficiently. And this coach has worked with a bunch of other people just like him, just like myself with my own program. All the clients in my program, they're all men that are looking to build muscle, and some of them more fat loss, but a lot of them are just like trying to build muscle and get in shape, and they're all dudes. And it's like, I'm a dude myself, and I've worked with 95% men, with a few exceptions of like women I worked with. Like, most of my clients have been men that have wanting, the same sort of goals that I have for the most part. Some of them are slight deviations, but like, why is it that these people are working with me? Well, it's because they just want a proven process that works for them. And they want to be able to work with somebody that knows what they're doing, that's done it with so many other people that they cannot fail as long as they just follow the progress. And most of the people I worked with, like, I worked for those of you guys that don't know, I worked with, somebody that was, a CMO of a huge company. When I say a huge company, like a huge company, like I don't want to go into the details, but this dude was worth like $30 million, and he worked with me. And I remember thinking to myself, like, why the heck is he, of all people, choosing me to work with? And it's like, well, I'm expediting the process for him. I'm giving him information and application, and I'm motivating him, and he has the stressors of his business. And I'm this motivated, energetic young dude that's, pushing him through, where he wants to go, right? And where I'm going with this whole story is like, I don't think I'll ever go a day in my life without having a coach. Like, even in the fitness space, no matter how much knowledge I have, how much application I have, I don't think I'll ever go a day without investing into a new fitness coach. And if you guys know of a really, really good fitness coach that could help me, like, swipe up, let me know. Like, obviously it would have to be a good fit, but I just want to get this message across of, like, when I was a personal trainer, I look at it from the complete opposite lens of, like, I would never pay money for a coach. I would never. And then you realize, like, people start telling all my clients, like, you're getting me insane results. Like, you actually helped me so much. And I'm like, wait, really? Like I know, right? Like, I know we're down weight on the scale and stuff, but like, they appreciate it so much. And from a client perspective or a non-trainee perspective, when I was at the gym today and I realized, like, like, I want to join, it was at my buddy's gym. I was like, I want to sign up with him and like work with him. That would be dope. And it's interesting because I would have never thought this way in the past, and I never invested into a coach in the past, but when I started to actually do that is when things opened up for me. And truly, I think, like, a really good coach gets people that, want to get in shape, great results. But I think a really good coach gets people that are already in great shape, even better results. And like, a prime example, if you guys follow any bodybuilding, is like Chris Bumstead. He has a personal trainer, and the guy is pretty jacked. Let's say he's jacked up his mind, but he's more so jacked up here, right? And so, like, he's helping Chris Bumstead. He's almost like, I don't want to say he's bigger than Chris Bumstead, but the dude's enormous. If you check out Bumstead's YouTube page, like, you'll see what I'm talking about. The dude's insane. For a trainer, a lot of people think trainers aren't jacked because they don't have time to work out. That dude's insane. But he works with C-Bum. And the reason that C-Bum's paying him is because, like, he has information, he has application, he's going to hold him accountable, he's going to see things from a different light, he's going to have that second set of eyeballs, and that's what all my clients pay for. And that's why I'm now thinking about investing into my second fitness coach, right? It's like, why would I ever stop? And like, I'm going to be a hypocrite if I don't actually take my own advice. Like, I think working with a coach is genuinely the best thing you can do, because especially with fitness, it's going to give you more knowledge, more information, more accountability, implementation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just going to be a boost of inspiration. Like, me going into the gym, I'm noticing more and more, I'm like responding to client texts, right? Like, hey dude, just want to give you an update on the program. I'm like doing stuff like that when I'm trying to do my own workout, which is great. I love what I do. But it's all like, a lot of my brain is just scattered with how I can help my other clients and people in my program get better results, that it's almost like I'm taking time away from my own workouts. As much as I try to shut my brain off, I'm not. I'm still in the gym, like, focusing on these clients, right? And so now, like, just reaching out to this buddy of mine, I was like, dude, like, can you just like put me into your sessions? Like, not just for like the information and whatnot, but it's just like, I know that you have more information than I do, and you also have a different perspective on fitness than I do. And I also know that like, the information you're going to give me is going to be helpful for me, and I'm going to be able to disconnect my brain from working on my own clients and just like focus on a training session. And so, like, I reached out to him, like, dude, like, sign me up, bro. Like, just send me like the bill, dude. Like, I don't know how it works, but like, just let me join and do a few sessions with you, like, next week, bro. Like, get me locked in. Now, of course, like, with the information I have, you would think, like, why the heck would I do that, right? I can just do it on my own. Like, yes, but like, if I have the opportunity to get better results faster, with more efficiency, something that's super motivated, that like literally all he does is just work with clients one-on-one in person, why the heck would I not do the same? And now, like, I definitely think that, like, there's an extent of like what you can get done in person. Like, I think as an in-person trainer, after a while, like, it's kind of wasting, you're kind of spinning your tires, right? And this is just my own opinion. I talked about this in a brief reel from a Zoom call I was doing with a trainer buddy of mine that we used to work together. And I was basically saying, like, dude, after a couple of months, like, depending on where they're at, but like after 2 to 3 months, like, the person knows what they need to do. But really what they need assistance with is the nutrition coaching, the accountability, the scientifics. But like, how to actually get a good workout and just like do the basic movements, it doesn't take that long. It just takes a couple of months. From that point, transitioning that in-person client to online setting, I think is the best thing. And I think like in-person trainers like should do that. But I also know that some people don't want that, right? And it doesn't always work for people. But most of the investment that the clients I'm working with are paying me for and are investing into, that's really what it is an investment into their health, is to be held accountable when they don't feel like doing these things. Like 6 months down the line after joining my program, when they don't feel like going to the gym, it's my responsibility to be like, dude, like, you have to keep going. Like, let's actually continue grinding, right? And this is like why somebody like myself thinks about investing into a coach, because it's like, okay, he's going to be way more motivating and jazzed up about me hitting my results than I am. Not to say all the time, but like, if that designated 1 hour or 30-minute session, I'm like mentally distraught, and I'm going through a bunch of stuff with my business, and I'm working on like making sure that my clients get what they need. And I'm in my own head about like, okay, I need to make sure that this client gets his program assigned, and I update his new phase, and I give him his nutrition macros, and I also have a client calls, and I have like check-ins, and like, oh, I have to do this. I want to finish reading this book. It's like my mind is all on that when I'm in the gym. And when I was in the past, like it would be so much more focused on my fitness. But now that I'm helping so many people with their programs and their fitness, that's like my main thing. Is that's my passion, is helping people through fitness. But the downfall, I guess, to that, it's not even a downfall really, but I guess the only downside to being so focused and so like goal oriented on getting my clients good results and great results is that it takes away from like how much attention I actually put on my own fitness. And this is great. This is why like it's good to have foundations and frameworks, and like why nutrition is so crucial, because once you reset your baseline, right, and you get yourself to a point where you actually can manage how you eat and hold yourself to that, it's great. But like truth be told, a lot of people struggle with that, and you need like a solid foundation. And that's why it took me 12 years to get to the point I'm at, because it took me, so much dedication, discipline, and then like falling off track and then having to get back on and have to go with a more strategic approach to actually, be eating 5 eggs and beans for lunch, right? And so with this rant, if you want to call it that, the 4-letter R word, whatever you want to call it, like with this, the whole benefit is to just tell you guys that like, it's like the same thing of like, if you're a financial advisor and you don't have somebody managing your money, like why would you not do that? Like, yeah, you have all the information, you have probably the, ins and outs, but like, why would you not have somebody else that's doing what you're doing even better, right? It's like, why the heck did Michael Jordan have a basketball trainer? Like, of course, Michael Jordan's way better than this dude all around, but like the guy's a specialist in one specific field, right? Like, why is it that LeBron James has like a personal trainer? Like, because LeBron James is not like a bodybuilder or a powerlifter dude. Like, he's a basketball player, and he's pretty good. He can probably work out on his own most of the time, but he wants to excel in these things. And this is why people invest into a coach. And why is it that successful entrepreneurs have business mentors themselves? Well, it's because there are people that are always ahead of them. And that's not like a shot at your ego. Like, you might look at it that way for a little bit, but really it's just like a way of like, okay, like I want to grow from this person. So I really think having some sort of coach, I'm not trying to hop on here and say like, yo, I'm saying all this just to make you think that you should invest in me. Like, I genuinely don't care. Like, I just wanted to rant on this because I think so many people have the opposite perspective, and they think of things as like, oh, like I would never have a personal trainer because like I don't have the money, or like I don't have the time, or like, like I don't have the whatever. But what they don't look at is the flip side of it. It's like, imagine if you just did though, the results you get and how things would unlock for you, right? Like, the reason, like, again, like the reason that professional bodybuilders or power lifters or these strength men, why do they have coaches? Well, it's like they want to be really good at what they do. And so like, if you want to be in best shape possible, you're way better off paying, whether it's your time, energy, or money, to get into that result. And like for me personally, for 12 years, I paid with my time, my effort, and my energy. I didn't pay with my money. I paid with like my own research, my own knowledge, like reading books, doing countless studies, watching YouTube videos, doing all this stuff. And I got a ton of the way there. I got like a lot from it. But it took me over a decade. And then like thinking back on it now, I love what the process did for me. It taught me a lot of things that carried over in all avenues of life. But like, if you're watching this video and you like don't want to wait 5, 8, 10, 12 years to get into shape, and you just like, some people are more passionate about it than others. Like, I'm super passionate about what I do in fitness. So like for me, it wasn't that big of a deal to sacrifice all that time, because I don't look at it as a sacrifice. I look at it as like, those were the building blocks of getting me to be able to help my business grow. But if you're somebody that like your, goals or your career is to travel or to work on your own business and it's not fitness, you probably are best investing into somebody or working with somebody that is an expert, like a specialist in what they do. Like this way you can actually just get the result, right? And like, that's really what I want to touch on. Is like, yo, why the heck would you be a hypocrite and like not invest in your own health if you believe so much in your own thing, right? Like, I believe that all my clients that invest in my program are going to make insane transformations and like they're getting a lot from my work, from working with me. So like, why would I not take that same logic and apply it to my own life? Like, of course I'm going to get better results if I work with someone. There's never such thing as like, I know everything. And even if you know everything, well, whatever the days where you don't feel like working out, you don't feel like following through, like that's why people pay for these things. And that's why somebody works one-on-one with you, because they're holding you accountable. And accountability is something where like, it's good to have a group of people that hold you accountable, because when you don't feel like doing something, when you don't feel super inspired or motivated, but you have somebody else holding you to it on those days, that's what really pays off. And when I worked with some of the in-person trainers, they, exposed things about my own fitness that like I was not great at, and that allowed me to improve. I remember one of the people I worked with, he opened up, like just a better exercise for me, which is, barbell front squat, right? For example, I used to always do barbell back squats. And for those of you guys watching that know anything about anatomy, like your legs, I don't want to overcomplicate you guys, right? But certain people are not going to be able to sit very comfortably into a barbell back squat without lower back pain or knee pain. So I remember when I worked with this in-person trainer at the gym I was at, he presented to me barbell front squats. He was like, these are going to be a way better exercise for you. You're going to get way deeper into them. You're on the taller side, like you're over 6 foot. Like you're going to benefit way more from this than if you do a back squat. And I was like, like nobody's ever told me that before. And goblet squats always felt great, but I always thought I need to do a back squat. Like, and then like when that opened up for me, like my quads just started to actually grow. And so like, it's just that one small thing that might open and unlock certain things for you. And you like truly don't know what that thing is until you work with somebody that's worked with hundreds of people. In this trainer, I worked with hundreds of clients, right? And it's like, thanks to him, like now my training has dramatically improved, and like my lower back pain is gone, right? And like I can actually sit into a deep squat as low as I want to go, right? Without having my lower back tighten up. And it's just a matter of like, certain exercises are not going to work for you. That's why strategy is so important, is having the right structure, which is something I'm big on with my clients. Like, what fits you is not going to fit the next person. And a cookie cutter program is not what my training is, and that's not what my coaching program is. And so like, that's why if you do have clients in the past, they worked with like an Athlete X, coach, which nothing against them, but like if you're paying 30, 40, $50 for a program, you know, like you're gonna get 30, 40, $50 results, right? Like ebook or some small program. Like nothing against that. It's valuable, but it's not going to be super valuable to you because the guy hasn't, or the lady, whatever, hasn't factored in your unique goals, your situation, your characteristics, your history, like your anatomy, your biomechanics, movement patterns, everything of that nature. In the past that did like, you know, one-off Athlete X programs. And if you guys know Athlete X, like he's great. Like I grew up with a lot of his videos, information. But the thing is, like if you're buying a one-off program, even like nothing against these people, hopefully they don't get all mad if they see this. Like Squat University, I had somebody on the call with me a few weeks back, and she was like, I worked with the Squat University guy, and I have all this joint pain, and he helped me clear it up. But like the one-off program, the issue with that is like the reason you still have the pain is because he's just giving you something that works for a bunch of people, and like it's not to say it's going to work for you, and it probably won't, especially if you're not consistent with giving feedback and seeing what's working. So like a one-on-one coach is something that's going to actually give you information, you know, to, you know, somebody that like working with a coach that actually takes into consideration everything, all the metrics and all the variables, not just a couple, is ideal. And so like this is why working with a coach of myself is something that's super important to me, because, you know, I am actually able, like this guy knows who I am, he knows my goals, he knows like the issues I have when it comes to like the lower back pain and stuff I dealt with in the past and like how I overcame them. He also knows different ideas and he knows how to motivate me, inspire me. So like, why would I not work with a coach that's gonna hold me to it? Even the top dudes in the space, the pro bodybuilders, the pro athletes, even myself as a coach, there are of course times where I don't feel motivated, I don't feel inspired. And so like this is why you need a layer of accountability, a system, right? This is why my clients have, you know, other members in the community they engage with, and group coaching is rolling out because, you know, like when it comes to layers of accountability, right? Like if you have other people in the exact same position as you, or worse off, or slightly better than, you can all motivate and inspire you. It's like if you're doing a race, a cross-country race, as much as it's an individualized sport, I did cross-country growing up. So like as much as it's an individualized sport, like you see each other all working hard and it pushes you to go harder, right? Even though it is a race for you versus yourself, you see these other people and you're like, I need to like do better, right? And it inspires you. And if you're on the race by yourself, on the course by yourself, practicing, you're not gonna run as hard, right? It's just that simple. So that's my rant. Drop a comment below if you think that like what I said was incorrect. If you resonate, whatever, just throw in the comments. I think it would be helpful for you guys to just interact. And I'd love to hear where you're at. Also, this book, you should definitely check it out. It's called The Business of Belief. And it seems like it's a business book, which is actually why I started reading it. But it's not. It's actually a mindset book. And mindset is what holds over 95% of people back. Most people are held back by their beliefs and their lack of proper mindset. So The Business of Belief, it's a great book. It's going to open things up for you and show you not the scientific goals, the nitty gritty of like how to run a business. Because I know most of you guys watching this are not business owners like myself. That's the reason I got the book. But what the book talks about is how we all have the ability to control our own mindset. And like this right here this chapter is called Designing Belief. And it's a super easy read. Like each chapter is like 3 pages long. So like you read a chapter and then you just read a new one. And it's like, I'm like 40 chapters in and I'm like on page 67, right? For example, and it's super small, as you can see. It's like easy read, highly recommend it. And it talks about like, literally like this one here, you know, feelings, direct attention. This is a 3-page chapter. It talks about studies, right? With like human judgment, decision making, that talk about how the way you think about yourself, the way you take actions, they're all correlated. So if you think you are this type of person, if you believe that this specific type of outcome is possible for you, this type of result, this type of lifestyle, then you just adopt that way of thinking and therefore adopt those specific types of actions. So it's opened up a lot of things for me. I highly recommend check it out. Some people, they hold themselves back and they think that, oh, like I'm not a healthy person, I'm not in shape. And I know it seems crazy, but if you can start to identify as that person, then you end up taking results that align with who that person is. And if you take, you know, the thought pattern, if you identify with the thought patterns and have the belief systems about yourself, then eventually you start taking consistent action as that individual would. And then you take actions, and those consistently over enough time lead to habits. And then habits are just like wired into your subconscious. And of course, with your conscious brain, you're thinking about these things all the time. But if you're doing them repetitively, then your subconscious brain is now tapped in, right? And your subconscious, conscious brain, they're working together. So now you have your conscious brain constantly thinking about these things. But also when you start to feel this lack of motivation, your subconscious fires and says like, hey, we're this type of person, it's not the individual. And we take these actions. And then the actions developed over enough time, they just turn into skills. And then you have the skills of discipline, of being motivated, of finding internal motivation, finding your why, right? Like of eating properly, like taking care of your health, prioritizing your nutrition, you know, going to the gym. Like all these things are just skills that are acquired by doing enough action, which stems from the proper beliefs. And then if you have skills, you can just apply them at any goal. Throw your freaking skills, brother, at a problem, and boom, you have solved that problem. And like this has opened up so many things for me. Not just this book in specific, can't give it all the credit, but it's like an easy read, and it's made me exemplify the way I think about goals and attacking things. And you know, like when it comes to actually achieving any results that you want in your life, it literally just comes down to belief. You have a problem of being overweight, throwing that belief system that's now developed into a skill of being disciplined, being motivated, being a healthy individual, identifying as this individual. Now you're throwing it at the problem, and boom, you're no longer overweight over enough time, of course. Same thing with trying to put muscle on. Like I grew up on the skinny side, just trying to build muscle, trying to have this lean ideal physique. Like the name of my program, my Achieve Ideal Physique, is because it's all universal when it comes to the frameworks behind the goals. Although we might have, some people might be heavier set, some people might be skinnier, some people might have issues with this, that, and the third. Some people might, you know, have the lack of ability to maintain muscle. Some people might have joint problems. Like there's so many different health concerns, but if you apply the frameworks that are in my program that I talk about so much on my IG page or my YouTube, you know, then you can actually achieve any goal you set up for yourself. But people hold themselves back, and it's literally a mindset problem because human beings all have the same 24 hours. And I know you've heard this before, but things started to really open up for me when I actually started to believe that and realize like I am no different than the person next to me. How is it that this, like unless they have a robot for a brain or they have, you know, some sort of wiring in there, they just have neurons that are firing differently than I am, and that's because they've developed certain skills. Some people might be born more intellectually, whatever, but there are a lot of studies that show that A, you can change that, and B, that's not even the case. Like there's a lot of studies that go into like, and I'm not pulling the studies, I don't know where they're at, but I just read things that say like, hey, a lot of that is actually cap. Like, it's actually not true. Like, and the reason that people hold themselves back is because they tie themselves onto these studies, this research that, you know, is biased research, most of it, because it's not accounting for everybody. But a lot of these skills that, even if you're not 100% even with everybody when you start, like, you can do more work than necessary to get yourself to the next position. You can actually, make a difference with where you want to be, but you need the right mindset and the right belief systems to actually take consistent action. This is why I love coaching on the psychology, because so many people just preach calories in versus calories out, lose weight, gain weight, dirty bulk, lean bulk, all these things. But a lot of it most of it stems from mindset. And if you don't have the right mindset, brother, then you're in a tough spot. You're in a rocky ship. And good luck not drowning in that puppy. So I don't know who need to hear that, but that is my 4-letter R word for today. And I'll see you guys in the next one.